Picture this. It's the end of the day. You've been at work all day. You're tired. You're exhausted. You're strung out. You swing by the child's daycare and you pick them up. Or maybe you make a run by their school and you throw the kids in the back of the car and you dash for home. Or maybe you've been at home all day, but you've done a mountain of laundry. You've taken care of kids. You've done all kinds of chores. You're tired. But nevertheless, everyone is finally home, and the question comes up that every busy woman hates. And that question is this: Mom, what's for dinner? Hi, I'm Shelley from Taming Frenzy, and I want to talk to you a little bit about why and how to make a meal plan, how it can benefit you, and spend a little time showing you how to make one. Now, at the end of the day, you've made 1,001 decisions, and the last thing that you want to do is have to make another one. In fact, at the end of a busy day, you're decisioned out. The thing no woman wants at the end of the day is to have to make yet one more decision, especially about dinner. Now, unfortunately, those people that we love and that are at our house, they want to eat every single day. It's funny how that works. But too often, one tired mama plus hungry kids unfortunately equals takeout one more time, or truth be told, sometimes it means breakfast cereal again for dinner, but we just don't have to tell everybody that now, do we? So, the number one reason that you want to make a meal plan is it saves your sanity. But if that alone is not enough to convince you of why a meal plan is something you want to think about, I've got two more reasons. Reason number two is that a meal plan helps to save you money. Now, if you're like most of us, money can cause some major frenzy at your house. It seems like there's always too much to spend it on and there's never quite enough money to go around. For example, maybe the child needs braces, needs new shoes. Maybe the washing machine is making a funny noise and you know it's on its last leg. Or maybe your car needs new tires. Nevertheless, you've got to figure out where in your budget you're going to find the money to pay for those things. It seems like there's never enough to go around. But you look at your budget and what you find is this: your mortgage payment or your rent payment, well, it is what it is. You're not going to be able to lower it. Just the same way, you're not going to have much play in your car insurance or your gasoline or your health insurance premiums or your medical stuff. Those are pretty much set in stone. You're not going to find a lot of play there. Now, you can look at a couple of discretionary items. You can look at your entertainment budget, and maybe you can go out to eat less often or go to less movies. But sometimes we've already cut all of those things out, and there's not any discretionary, money there that we can save. You can look at your utility bills. And yes, you can start turning off lights and doing the dishwasher, running it less frequently. But you may not make as much of a dent there as you would like. But there's one place that you can save major money, and that's at the grocery store. By making a meal plan each week, you know what to buy, but just as important, you know what not to buy at the grocery store. And the reason I say that is this: how many times have you thrown away wilted lettuce and spoiled tomatoes and other vegetables and perishables that went bad because you didn't cook them in time? All of that food that you throw in the garbage is just like throwing your money away. Having a meal plan allows you to have a very specific grocery list so that you're no longer purchasing stuff that's going to sit in your refrigerator until it rots and then you throw it in the trash. After all, nobody wants to throw money away. Also, having a meal plan allows you to take advantage of the sales at the grocery store. Now, whether you open up the newspaper once a week and take a look at the sales, or perhaps you open up your computer or your phone and you take a look at the sales online, which is what I do, having a meal plan allows you to take advantage of the sale items that are at the grocery store. It allows you to take advantage of the loss leaders. Now, if you're not familiar with what a loss leader is, a loss leader is just this. A loss leader is an item that the grocery store puts on sale at a really good price to entice you to come into the store. The thinking is this: once they get you in the store to purchase the loss leader, you will be bringing your nice long grocery list and you will spend the rest of your food money there. They're going to have made plenty off the other items to make up for the discount on the loss leader item. And I'll give you an example. As I'm filming this, it's about 2 weeks until Thanksgiving. And you may notice, for example, that this time of year, canned pumpkin is on sale. After all, what is Thanksgiving without some pumpkin pies, right? Everybody wants that on their table. So I noticed that canned pumpkin is on a great price. And so I go to the grocery store eager to buy canned pumpkin at a good price. But while I'm there, I also need to pick up pie shells and spices and, Eagle brand milk. Those things are not on sale. In fact, sometimes those other items are actually marked up. They have an increased price to help make up for the price of the lost leader item. So, by having a really detailed grocery list that comes from your meal plan, you can go to the store, take advantage of the sales and the lost leaders, and put your head down and ignore the temptation that comes from all of those other ingredients that you do not need. That saves you money. The third reason you want to make a meal plan is having a meal plan saves you time. At the end of the day, when you're already tired and you're already suffering from decision fatigue, it takes longer to make even a simple decision. But when you've made a meal plan, you've already sat down, you've already spent the time, and all you have to do now is follow the plan. All you have to do is get dinner on the table, doing the cooking, and I've got some tips I'm going to share to make that a little bit easier for you. You also will save time because you'll go into the grocery store with a battle plan, so to speak. You'll have a very detailed grocery list. You'll know what you need to get. You can zero in on those items and try and ignore everything else. Let's face it, when you don't know what's for dinner, you spend more time at the grocery store. You wander up and down this aisle and you wander down that aisle and you look for inspiration and you see things on the shelves and you think, well, maybe I need that, and so you throw it in your cart. That takes time. It also takes a lot of money. So that's another way that having a meal plan saves you time. You spend less time in the grocery store. The other thing is this. I hate to admit it, but this has happened to me, and maybe it's happened to you. At the end of the day, you've pulled out the stuff and you get ready to start cooking dinner, and then you realize, oh my goodness, you're short something you forgot to buy at the grocery store. But you're committed now. You're already started dinner and you need this ingredient. So what do? You or somebody else in your family crawls in the car, drives to the grocery store, goes in and purchases the item. A waste of time and frankly, a pretty good waste of money too. Because I don't know about you, but at our house, it's hard to even get in the door of the grocery store without it costing at least $50. So meal planning saves you that time because you make all the decisions at once. Now, when you sit down once a week to make your meal plan, you just get into meal planning mode. You are batching all the decisions, and it's just as easy to look for half a dozen recipes as it is to look for one. You become more efficient with your use of your time. You don't have to think about it again. The decision's made, and all you have to do is then follow the plan. And in fact, if you print your meal plan off, you can then put it either on your refrigerator or you can put it in your command center so that others can see. So how do you actually go about making a meal plan? Well, the first thing that you want to do is you want to sit down, spend a little time, think about the dishes that your family likes to eat. I actually made a list several years ago. I sat down and I listed out the meals by types that my family enjoyed seeing. And I'm fixing to show you a clip and walk you through how you can do the same thing to start your own personalized list of your family's favorites. One thing that will help you a lot as you get ready to start meal planning is to sit down with your favorite cookbooks, your recipe box, the internet open to your favorite recipe sites, and to make a list of your family's favorite meals. And I mean the meals that you could put on the table every few days and your family would just gobble them up. I'm going to just show you a sample of how I've done this. I've basically taken and gone through my recipe box and I have listed some of our favorite hamburger dishes. These are things that are always welcome on the table. I've separated out beef, and of course I realize that hamburger is beef, but when I talk about beef here, I'm talking about roast, round steaks, other kinds of steaks, parts of the beef that are not ground into hamburger meat. I've listed some of our favorite chicken dishes,
some of our favorite things with ham and with pork, some of our favorite things that we make with fish. I have to admit, fish is something my family doesn't eat enough of, but I try to incorporate it into our diet. Also, meatless dishes. The more creative you can get here, the more you can incorporate meatless dishes. You can still get good nutrition, but you can help cut some of the money that is spent at the grocery store, since meat is frequently one of the most expensive things that we're purchasing. Since I like to generally go ahead and plan not only my dinner entree but also the side dishes, I've gone ahead and listed out some of our favorite side dishes, some of our favorite soups, and some of our favorite vegetables that we like to have. And when I start to sit down and meal plan out for the week or for the month, for however long I'm going to do this, I pull this out quite frequently because it gets me started when I am maybe struggling for ideas, or possibly when I am time crunched and just don't have as much time to sit down and go through cookbooks or go through the recipe box. I can pull this list out at any time and know that I have got go-to dishes that my family is always going to be willing to eat.
Now that I've walked you through that on the computer, I do have a couple of little handouts for you that I've created where you can start listing your own family's favorites. Now, this may not be enough space for you, but it at least will get you started. That way you can start listing out some of your family's favorite dishes. Once you've got a list of your family's favorite meals, now you can start adding others. You may want to pull out your cookbooks, your recipe box, or open up your favorite cooking site, internet cooking site, and start looking for other dishes that you'd like to try. Now, one thing I would recommend if you've got picky eaters at your house is don't plan an entire week full of brand new dishes. You don't want mealtime to become a battleground where the picky eaters refuse to eat something and it becomes a battlefield or a problem. Dinner time's not just about feeding the body, it's also about feeding the soul and coming together as a family. So it's great to try some new dishes, but intersperse those and make sure that you've always got something on the table that even your pickiest eater is going to be glad to see, because it will make dinner time much more pleasant. Now that you're ready to actually start planning, you need to ask yourself a question and you need to decide, do you want to plan on paper or do you want to plan digitally? I've done both, and both have pros and cons. Currently, I'm planning on paper, and the benefit I see is this: you can very easily take your paper planner with you, curl up on the couch, plan those out, and it's easy and it's comfortable. You don't have to have your laptop or your iPad or something in front of you to do that. It's also easy to post on the refrigerator so that everyone else can see it, and there's lots of really cute options these days to make that pretty and to make it fun. The biggest con, of course, against paper planning is just that. A lot of us are trying to cut down on the amount of paper that we have in our house, and so we may not want to be adding extra. If you want to plan digitally, you can customize that and make it as detailed as you wish. I guess the only downside really is if there was a power outage or your batteries were out and there was no way to replenish that. So that's something to consider. Now, I'm currently planning on paper, and this is the meal planning pad that I actually use, and I really love it. You can see, first of all, it's got this really heavy-duty magnet on the back, so I stick this on the refrigerator so that everyone in the family can see. But when I sit down to plan out the week's meals, it's got the days of the week at the top. I put the dates, and then it's got a place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it's got a place down here at the bottom. This piece down here is perforated so that you can tear it off and put your extra special ingredients, take that with you to the grocery store, add it to your list, and you've got that. And this is what I currently use. Now, at the end of the week, when I'm done with that, I tear it off and I put it into a notebook, and I keep those because I may want to refer back to these. Let's face it, there are times when we're busier than normal, when life is busy, there's a lot of activities, and we may not want to sit down and come up with a totally new meal plan. Keeping this allows me to go back and do a quick flip through and come up with some ideas that I don't have to totally start from scratch. Now, that one is regular letter-sized paper, but I've also used a smaller one in the past. This is one I used to use a lot. Haven't used it as much lately, but it has a place, again, for you to put your different meals for the week, and then on the back, it has a place for you to put your grocery list by poultry, meat, dairy products, etc. This one is smaller. You can buy them decorated. I've seen them, but this one takes up less space. So that's one way to do that. I have also in the past even just used a spiral notebook. Okay. I tore this one out of the spiral notebook, but this is one from several years ago that I just drew off and customized. I did this so that way I could have my main dish, my side dish, and any dessert I was going to. And I would make these ahead of time, and then I would highlight the dishes I actually got made. And the reason is this: sometimes the best laid plan doesn't actually come to fruition. And this way I could look back and evaluate, what did I actually cook, what did I not cook, and I could then, if the things that I had planned and didn't cook, I could move them to the next week, so I already had some thinking pre-done.
Okay, I want to use this spreadsheet to show you how I would go about setting up a meal plan for at least 1 week. Now, I tend to do mine currently on a meal planning pad that just plans for 1 week at a time. The thing I like about it is it has a place for breakfast, lunch, and for dinner. But for simplicity purposes, we're just going to do this here on the spreadsheet so I can walk you through my thought process, and we'll just focus on the dinners. Okay, the first approach that you would use or could use to planning your meals is to plan basically by type of meat or the type of entree that you're going to have. One thing that we like to do to save money at our house is we have a meatless night. So I might on Mondays, Monday would always be the meatless dish. Tuesday at our house would be a chicken dish. Wednesday at our house, we'll have something with hamburger meat. Thursday will be something with pork, be ham, pork chops, sausages, whatever. Friday night's going to be something with fish. And Saturday night, for simplicity's sake, this is going to be something in my crock pot. Saturday's a day a lot of times we're out running errands and you're getting laundry done and doing the house, so it's nice to have something that's easy. And then Sunday night, it's going to be buffet night, because if we've cooked all during the week, we can have at least one night a week that is buffet night or smorgasbord night, and eat up those leftovers. So once I've decided this, and the reason I do it this way is so that I don't look up and realize, oh my goodness, I've served my husband chicken 4 nights this week. This helps keep things from getting monotonous and boring. So once I've decided on the type of entree, then I'm going to start actually planning out the menu. For our first meatless dinner here, we're going to have stuffed potatoes. Those are nice. They're easy to save money. They're easy to make. Fix your baked potatoes, and then anything you've got left over in the fridge, you can throw in that baked potato. You can also do just a plain one with butter, sour cream, cheese, but it's also great if you've got any leftover veggies in your fridge that are about to get ready to go bad. You throw them in a pan and saute them, and then throw them in your stuffed potato. You've kept from throwing some things away, but you've also had a meatless dinner. Okay, for our chicken dish this week, we're going to have chicken quesadillas. And then for hamburger night, I want to fix something the kids will like and that I will always eat. We're going to have tater tot casserole. It's kind of hard to beat a tater tot casserole. Thursday night, we're going to have orange pork chops. Fish Friday, I'm going to fix a maple glazed salmon. And then on Saturday, since it's crock pot day, we're going to have Swiss steak. I happen to know that this Saturday is going to be a very busy day, have a lot of errands, and we're going to just leave that cooking while we're out running around. And then Sunday is my favorite day of the week because we get to have leftovers. No cooking for Mom. Okay, well, since I'm feeling industrious here on the little spreadsheet, I'm going to go ahead and plan out a second week. I have a lot of times in the past gone ahead and done several weeks at a time, but I'll just do 2 here. Okay, this next meatless dinner, we're going to have bean burritos. And our next chicken dish we'll have chicken manicotti. And then for our next hamburger dish, we'll just have hamburgers and French fries. And then for this Thursday, we'll have cheesy brats. I found some of those on sale, and it's time to use them. And then on Friday night, we'll have tuna salad. And then on this crock pot night, the weather's getting colder here, we'll have chili with beans. And then Sunday again will be my favorite day, which is leftovers. Now that's one way that I would approach this. And by doing this, I can make sure that I've not served chicken 4 different nights during the week, and then I've got variety. I've got a variety of things here this week that my husband will like. He'll like the maple glazed salmon. He'll like the pork chops. And I've also got some things that my kids are going to enjoy a little more. They're going to enjoy tater tot casserole. They like tater tot or chicken quesadillas. So I can help make sure that everybody in the family is happy with what we're going to be sitting down to eat. Now, the next way you can approach planning your meal is by the type of cuisine or the basic type of dish. At our house, we love Mexican food and we eat a lot of it. So Monday, we'll do something with a Mexican theme. Tuesday, we'll do an oodles of noodles. Kids, when they were young especially, if you put a noodle in it, they would absolutely go to town. Wednesday night will be something on a bun, whether that's hamburgers, sandwiches, something open-faced. Thursday night will be something Italian. Friday night will be some type of pizza. And there's so many ways you can change your pizza up that it's never boring. Saturday, we'll do some kind of a stir fry. And then Sunday, we'll do a soup. And I would probably leave that in my crock pot, or you can make it in your Instant Pot. Okay, so for this first week, let's have a beef chalupa for dinner. On noodle night, we'll have chicken spaghetti. On a bun night, let's have sloppy joes. On Thursday night for Italian, we'll have ravioli. Just the canned kind, although there's nothing wrong with canned kind. On Friday night, we'll have cheese pizza. Misspellings. And then for stir fry, we'll have a veggie stir fry this week. And then for soup, we'll have potato soup. And I'm going to go ahead and plan out a second week here. Let's have chicken enchiladas. And then on noodle night, let's have a pasta salad. And if I plan this right, I might make a little bit of extra chicken here and I could throw it in my pasta salad just to make that really good. For on a bun night, we'll have tuna sandwiches. For Italian night, we'll have spinach lasagna. Pizza night, we'll have a barbecue pizza. And for stir fry here, we'll have shrimp stir fry. And again, stir fries never get old because depending on what kind of meat you throw in and what kind of veggies you've got, and you can spice it up and season it a lot of different ways. And then we'll have chicken tortilla soup. Now, by planning at least a couple of weeks at a time, I can kind of look back over and make sure that I'm not doing too much repeating. If I look at this and go, well, I just don't want to have a pasta salad here, have pasta here, and then have pasta here again, I can do some switching around. I might look at this and decide, I don't want to have Italian food one night and pizza the next night, so I might switch those. The point is, by getting the overall view, I can switch my menu around to make it so that it's where everybody will be happy to come to the table. I will be saving money with the choices I make at the grocery store, and we won't be repeating the same things over and over again. So that is how I would plan that using the spreadsheet.
Once your meals are all planned out, now you've simply got to get the cooking done each night to get dinner on the table to get your family fed. This doesn't have to be something that takes a lot of time every night. Now, my favorite appliance, maybe in the whole world, but definitely in the kitchen, is my crock pot. I think a crock pot can be a busy woman's absolute best friend. It allows you to use a cheaper cut of meat, and by cooking it longer, it comes out tender and tasty, And the wonderful thing about a crock pot is you throw it together the night before and then you plug it in the next morning as you are headed out the door to work or as you're taking the kids to school before you come back home to get started on your day at home. And at the end of the day, when people ask, Mom, what's for dinner? It's in the crock pot. It's ready. All you have to do is pull it out. Now, something I have not used, but that I hear a lot of great things about is the Instapot. I haven't used the Instapot personally, but the women I've talked to who have used them love it. The point is, either one of these appliances will help you get dinner on the table with minimal time, minimal effort. I used to walk in the door and the crock pot had dinner ready, and literally all I had to do after changing my clothes was maybe open up a can of green beans or some frozen corn, put that in the microwave, cut up some fresh fruit or even canned fruit, depending on how busy the night was. Maybe make a little minute rice, and dinner was ready. Literally, some nights, 15 minutes or less, and dinner was on the table. Now, another option for you is the once a month cooking. And I have done the once a month cooking and liked it, but there are pros and cons to once a month cooking. The wonderful thing about once a month cooking is literally you spend one weekend a month, you get 30 dishes made and in your freezer. Then all you have to do is decide which ones you're going to serve this week, pull them out to thaw, and then reheat them. That's a big plus when you're busy. However, the biggest drawback to once a month cooking is it is a long, tiring weekend. By the time you go to the grocery store and do your shopping, come home and put it up, then the next day you get busy and you pull it all out and you start chopping and washing and dicing and cooking your meat and assembling the different dishes and putting them in freezer containers. It's a very long, exhausting day. Your feet hurt and you are tired when you get done. If you're going to do this, it's nice to be able to maybe send the kids to a friend's. Maybe y'all swap back and forth when she does her cooking, or to make sure that someone else is available to watch them, maybe your husband, or even better, get your husband in the kitchen and park those kids somewhere and let them play while you both get dinner done. But those are the pros and cons to once a month cooking. If you've got the freezer space and the time, I do recommend it. It is a good plan. Now, another option is to do what I call kind of a modified once a month, which really it's not once a month. But what I do is this: instead of cooking 30 dishes at once with several meat bases, I will make 5 or 6 meals with one meat base. For example, I might decide to make 5 meals and hamburger is the base. Doing this allows you to take advantage of when meats are on sale. It also is easier to just cook one type of meat at a time. By doing this, I'm simply browning a bunch of hamburger meat at one time instead of having to do that and then wash that up and get ready to prepare the chicken or whatever else you're doing next. By doing this, you prepare 5 or 6 dishes, you put them in the freezer, and that way you can intersperse those in. What you don't want to do is make 30 hamburger dishes and serve 30 hamburger dishes to your family all month long. They're going to be sick of hamburger before you get that done. Also, unless you've got a lot of freezer space, if you try to do 30 hamburger dishes and then another time do 30 chicken dishes, you probably just don't have the freezer space for that. But to do a modified and to cook 5 or 6 dishes is something that worked really well that I liked. Another easy way to do that is to simply double your recipe every time you cook. This is easy. It doesn't take hardly any more time. If you're making one pan of lasagna, it just doesn't take that much more time to make a second pan of lasagna and put that one in the freezer. If you're making one meatloaf, make a second one. Put the second one in the freezer. In other words, you can get a lot more bang for your buck by spending 5 more minutes to make a second dish. And that's easier and quicker than starting all over again tomorrow night or some night, starting in from scratch. Another option is to do a weekend prep. And what I mean by this is you go to the grocery store, you get up on the weekend, and you prep things for the coming week. You might wash and chop all of your vegetables that you're going to use in salads or soups or stir fries. And then go ahead and even cook a couple of your base meats. You might cook a roast, you might cook a chicken. By doing that, the basic prep work is already done before the week gets there. You then, for example, come in on Monday night, you've got a baked chicken. All you have to do is reheat it a little bit and you have your chicken dish. A couple of nights from now, you take some of that leftover chicken and you serve chicken quesadillas. Didn't take that much longer because the chicken was already cooked. Then, if you've got some chicken left over from that, you can either make chicken salad for chicken salad sandwiches, or you can put that leftover chicken in a bag, put it in the freezer, and then the next time you've got some leftover chicken, you simply add it to it. Now, let me tell you something that my grandmother passed on to me. My grandmother was a young wife during the Great Depression, and something that she always kept in her freezer was what she called her soup can. It literally was a coffee can with the lid, and every time she had a little bit of leftovers, she put them in the soup can. If she had a little bit of leftover corn, she didn't throw it in the trash. She raked it into the soup can. If she had just a few little bites of roast beef, she didn't throw it in the trash. She put it in the soup can. If she had a little chicken broth left, she put it in the soup can. It didn't matter what it was, she put it in the soup can. And when the soup can was full, she pulled it out of the freezer, she thawed it, and she added whatever she felt like she needed to it and seasoned it up, and she made a soup. It was always delicious, it was always different, and it kept her from throwing that food in the trash and wasting money. The point with meal planning is that with a little bit of planning and thought up front, you can save yourself some major headaches. You can save time, you can save money, you can save your sanity, and you can feed your family. They can be happily fed and good nutrition, and everybody can enjoy dinner time again instead of that dinner time becoming a time that you dread because you don't want to think about what's for dinner. I hope that this has been helpful. I hope you'll consider, planning the meals out. I think it's a great time saver for the busy woman. And I hope that you'll come visit me over at tamingfrenzy.com. I would love to see you there. Take advantage of the handouts that I've got to help you start in your planning. And if at any point there's something that I can answer for you or help you with, please feel free to shoot me an email at Shelley at tamingfrenzy.com. I would love to hear from you.